Hello, my name is Arturo Santos. I work for IUCN for the regional office in Central America. I'm the coordinator of biodiversity and sustainable use for IUCN. The main target was to talk about green economy with emphasis on what is going on within the ground-based. But there's a lot of diffusion and confusion within the land-based and green economy. At the current moment, there are a lot of themes on a macro discussion that hasn't been able to actually touch ground and debate on new scenarios. If we were talking about 20 years ago, we were talking about conservation without seeing the human participation part within. 10 years ago, we were talking about forest management and sustainability. Now we're talking about new approaches on economy. But it always relies on the same scenario. How can we change the way that we're constantly living at the moment? How can we change the activities that we're going to provoke, but without affecting the economical growth of a country? We're talking about reduction of poverty, but at the same time reducing the growth of economical impact, but at the same time maintaining the natural resources. So it's a three-lane street that we are not clear of which lane to take and how fast should we go in each lane. In a local context, the main driven is how can we improve the quality of life within the people without jeopardizing the future for the newest generations. And with that is that, are we talking about reduction of poverty on economical income, or are we talking about improving the quality of life of those people that we're interested in provoking new scenarios? How to do that? Complicated at the time being, because we have a global economical crisis. Every country wants to prevail their own economy and not see the macro view of a globe that is surrounded by so many countries. Some are more advanced, some are less advanced. But the problem is that we cannot see a macro view because everybody's thinking on their own country, on their own legal framework, and on their own interests. So that is providing a shorten of how can we interact in a macro view. But in the countryside, we're seeing different sides of and different scenario. Is how can we link the private sector with civil society and government and make that triangle work in order to provoke new changes and new scenarios. And it can prevail. It actually can work, and we have seen it work. But the key question is how can we move faster? Or should we move faster within these thematics? As discussed in the panel before, there's a lot of uncertainty of what's going to happen on Rio, or what's going to happen on the UNFCCC, or what's going to happen in the UNFF, because we're talking about economical agendas blended with environmental needs, blended with needs of humans. So are we going to see changes nearby? I hope so. We are eagerly waiting for changes, huge changes. And crises are the ideal scenario for a huge change. So I think that economical crisis at this moment, if we are not interested in using this scenario at this starting point and changing our way of economical growth, either we do it now or we're not going to do it, because as we are seeing, governments are not reacting enough. They're waiting for the economical crisis just to pass by and everything can continue as it was before. I think that governments should engage in new and daring scenarios in order to change their economical based on using the natural capital as the main driven of their economical power. We're seeing that a lot of countries that are rich in natural resources and human culture are lacking of economical empowerment, and are countries that are living in extreme poverty. How can we switch that? By the government recognizing that the economical resources and the main driven of the uses of the natural resources. And with that, we can prevail a new economy that is based on sustainability, equality, and fair trading with the society.